The Broken Gate. Old Man Twinkle wanted a boy to help him in his shop. He needed a boy who could drive Jenny the pony, for all Twinkle's goods were taken round in the cart. So Old Man Twinkle put a notice in his window. Wanted, boy to help, after school hours. All the boys saw the notice, and many of them thought they would try for the job. They could do it after school and on Saturdays, and it would be a good job, for Old Man Twinkle was generous and kind. "It means good food, good pocket money, and great fun driving Jenny round to deliver goods," said George. "I'm going after that job." "So am I," said Henry. "My mother could do with a bit of extra money, and so could I." "And I'd love to drive old Jenny," said Peter. "I could give you all rides." "You're not allowed to do that," said Jack, the smallest. "Old Man Twinkle always says that Jenny has enough to pull, without taking on extra passengers." "Phew, I don't care what Old Man Twinkle says," said Harry. "If I got the job, I'd do the same as Peter, give you all a ride if I met you." "Should you try for the job too, Jack?" asked George. "No, what good would I be?" said Jack. "I'm too small. And look at my clothes. I don't look good enough to go after a job." "I bet I'll get it," said George. "I'm the biggest of you all." "Well, I'm top of the class, so my brains ought to get it for me," said Henry. "And I look the best," said Harry, smoothing down his new suit. He was always nicely dressed and neat. "My father knows Old Man Twinkle well," said Peter. "I guess I'll get the job, because Twinkle likes my father." "We'll see," said George. "It's a pity Jack can't try for the job too, but he is so small and not a bit strong, and he does look rather ragged. I wonder which of us will get it. Hope I do. I'd like a good meal every evening and money in my pocket, and shouldn't I feel grand trotting along with Jenny the pony?" That evening all the boys went to see Old Man Twinkle. Jack went too, to see who would get the job. Old Man Twinkle wasn't ready to see anyone for the moment, so he told the boys to play in the yard till he called them. "Say, let's have a swing on that gate," said Harry, seeing an enormous yard gate swinging to and fro in the wind. "Come on, let's get up on it and pretend we're riding a horse." All 5 boys climbed up onto the gate. They shouted and pretended to whip the gate to make it gallop. He swung to and fro, and the boys shouted with delight. And then, suddenly something happened. The gate was old, and was not meant to carry 5 heavy boys. It broke away at the hinges, and the boys found themselves sliding off. The gate gave a groan, and hung all crooked, swinging in a very peculiar manner. "I say, we've broken the gate," said Harry in a small voice. "What will Old Man Twinkle say?" asked Peter. "He'll be angry." "Then let's tell him," said George. "He's at the front of the shop. He can't see what's happened." "But we ought to tell him," said Jack. "It's rather cowardly not to. My mother says we always ought to own up at once when anything's broken. Can't we all 5 go and tell him?" "No," said Henry. "He might say he won't give any of us the job if we've done a thing like that." "We won't say a word." "Right," said Harry. "Look, Old Man Twinkle shouted to us. I'll go first." He went to see the old man. Twinkle asked him some questions, and at the end he suddenly said, "Do you know anything about that broken gate?" "Huh! Is it broken, sir?" said Harry, pretending to be surprised. "Yes, it is," said Twinkle rather sharply. "You can go now. Send in the next boy." Peter came in, and Twinkle asked him the same sort of questions that he had asked Harry. And at the end he suddenly shot the same question at him. "Do you know anything about that broken gate?" "Oh, no, sir," said Peter untruthfully. "You may go," said Twinkle. "Send in the next boy. I'll make my choice when I've seen you all." George came in, and after a while Twinkle asked him the same question. "Do you know anything about that broken gate?" "It was broken when we came in, sir," said George, most untruthfully, and he blushed red, for he knew he should never tell stories like that. Really, said Twinkle, and he frowned. You may go. Send in the next boy. Henry came in, and he had the same question asked him at the end. Do you know anything about that broken gate? I didn't break it, sir, said Henry. You sure you didn't? Asked Twinkle. Oh, quite sure, said Henry. You may go, said Twinkle. Send in the next boy. I'm the last, said Henry. And please, sir, I'm the top of my class, and my master says I've got good brains. I'm sure I'd do well for you, sir. I'll make my choice this evening sometime, said Twinkle. It's not only cleverness I want. It's something bigger. And what's that, sir? Asked Henry. But Twinkle waved him out, and he went to join the others. He'll make his choice sometime this evening, said Henry. We'd better go home and wait to see who it is. Come on. They all went off, except Jack. He was worried about the broken gate. It was dreadful to break a thing and not to tell about it, and not even to try and mend it. He wondered if he could mend it. He swung the gate a little to see how much it was broken. Old Man Twinkle saw Jack from the window. He called him in. Are you another boy after this job? He asked. Oh, no, sir, said Jack. I'm too small. I'm not very clever. And I'm a bit ragged, too, because my mother hasn't much money. Said Old Man Twinkle. I see. Well, what are you doing out there in my yard? Do you know anything about that broken gate? Oh dear, thought Jack. Now what am I to say? I don't want to get the other boys into trouble. He went red. And then he said, Yes, Mr. Twinkle, I do know about that gate. What do you know about it? Asked Old Man Twinkle. I was swinging on it when it broke, said Jack bravely, though he didn't feel at all brave, for Twinkle was frowning. Oh, so your weight broke my gate, did it? Said Old Man Twinkle, and he looked fierce. Well, not exactly, said Jack. What do you mean, not exactly? Asked Twinkle. Oh, please, sir, don't be angry. But you see, some other boys and I were all swinging together on it, and it broke, said Jack. I wanted to come and tell you, really I did, but the others said no, and I couldn't give them away, could I? I stayed to see if I could mend the gate. That's what I was doing out in your yard. I see, said Old Man Twinkle, and he didn't look quite so fierce now. Well, who were the other boys? Don't be angry with me, Mr. Twinkle, but I really can't tell tales, said poor Jack. They're my friends, you see, and I don't want them to get into trouble. Quite so, said Old Man Twinkle. And now, I'm going to tell you something. The boys' names were Harry, Peter, George, and Henry. You see, I know them all. Jack stared in surprise. How did you know? He asked. Did the boys tell you after all? Not one of them, said Old Man Twinkle. They pretended to be surprised. They pretended not to know. They told me untruths. But I happened to see you all swinging on the gate when it broke. So I knew all about it, you see. Oh, said Jack, and he stared at Mr. Twinkle again. Well, please choose one of the boys, he said. They're nice boys, really, although they didn't own up about the gate. Oh, I've chosen my boy, said Mr. Twinkle. Who is he? Asked Jack. He's you, said Mr. Twinkle. Yes, I know you're small, but you'll grow, especially if Mrs. Twinkle makes you puddings every night. And I know you're at the bottom of the class for lots of things, but good food will make your brains grow too. And I know you're a bit ragged, but a little pocket money will buy you better clothes." "Oh, Mr. Twinkle," cried Jack, but, why do you choose a boy like me? The others are bigger and cleverer." "They may be," said Mr. Twinkle, "but what I want is a boy who is brave enough to own up when things go wrong. I want a boy who can speak the truth. I want a boy who is loyal. And if you're loyal to your friends, as you have been just now, you'll be loyal to me too. I've chosen the right boy, Jack. Oh, I've chosen the right boy." So he had, for Jack is with him still, but not as an errand boy. Oh no, he is the head of the shop now, and doing very well indeed. All because of a broken gate. Wasn't it strange?